Freelancers chase tasks. Agencies sell solutions. Which one are you? Because one will scale while the other one oftentimes starve. And that's the crazy part. Now, most freelancers are insanely talented. They know their craft, they work hard, and they hustle nonstop. But despite all of that, they stay stuck. They're exhausted. They're underpaid, and they can't figure out simply why the business never takes off. Meanwhile, agencies, often built by those exact same freelancers, will scale to 6 figures, 7 figures, sometimes even 8. But what's the real difference? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. And I promise, by the end, you'll never look at freelancing the same way again. Now, let's start with the freelancing trap. Freelancing is basically trading time for money. A client comes to you and say, "Hey, I need this done." You give them a quote. You do the task and you get paid. On the surface, that sounds fine, right? You're your own boss. You set your own hours. You don't have a boss breathing down your own neck. That's freedom, right? At least in theory. But here's the reality. Clients don't see you as a business partner. They see you as labor. You're basically a pair of extra hands they rent by the hour or by the task. And that creates a brutal cycle. Do the task, get paid, hustle for the next client, rinse and repeat. Now, if you stop working, the income shuts off instantly. It's fragile. There's no leverage there. And so here's the real kicker. Even if you're the best at what you do, your income is capped. There are only so many hours in a day. You can't raise your rates forever. At some point, you hit a ceiling, and it doesn't matter how talented you are. And that's why so many freelancers quietly burn out. They thought they were building freedom, but what they really built was just another job. Except now, they've got 10 different bosses instead of one. Now, what about agency? They play a completely different game. Because agencies don't sell tasks, they sell outcomes. Here's what I mean. A freelancer says, "I'll build you a funnel for $500. An agency says, "We'll bring you 10 to 20 book calls a month." Same technical work, totally different positioning. And that shift changes everything. Because when you sell an outcome, you're no longer just labor. You're a business partner delivering revenue, and businesses will pay you more for revenue than for random tasks. And that's why agencies scale. They package solutions and not services. And they use tools like High Level, which is a great platform that I use, to automate 80% of the grunt work. And so they build repeatable systems. And when the systems are in place, they can hire, delegate, and then keep scaling. Freelancers, they're stuck doing everything themselves. It's the difference between owning a machine that prints money versus just being the person pulling the levers. And the key to making that shift is packaging solution. So this is where most freelancers will get it wrong, okay? They think selling the tool is enough. I'll sell you a CRM. I'll sell you a website. I'll design it. I'll run your Facebook ads. But here's the truth. Business owners don't care about the tool. They care about the result. Think about it like this. Nobody buys a drill because they want to drill. They want to drill because they want a hole in the wall because they have to put a shelf on that wall. The drill is just the means to the end. Now, same thing here. A freelancer will pitch, "I'll set up your CRM, I'll set up your website, I'll set up X, Y, and Z." An agency will pitch, "Hey, we'll capture every single lead you have, follow up on it automatically, and close more sales without you having to lift a finger." What's the difference? It's not about the tool, it's about the transformation. And so I encourage you to check out this in $100 million offers. Alex Hormozy, the author, says that you want to sell the dream outcome, not the product. You see, when you package your service as a solution, you instantly increase perceived value. And packaging solutions, in my opinion, is where a platform like High Level becomes a secret weapon. See, freelancers will build random landing pages. Agencies build a client acquisition system. Website forms, automated text, all packaged together. They'll add AI receptionists and review management. They treat all of that as a single outcome. Now, suddenly, when you do that, you're no longer a task taker. You're the person delivering growth. And once you start packaging solutions, you unlock something freelancers never have: leverage. See, leverage is what separates rich businesses from broke ones. As a freelancer, it's you against the clock. You only have so many hours, so your income is capped. Agencies flip that equation. They build systems, they hire contractors, they automate, and they productize. Now, instead of doing 100% of the work themselves, they've got leverage. One agency owner can manage 10 clients, 20 clients, even 50 clients without working 100-hour weeks. Why? Because it's the system that does the heavy lifting. So take high-level snapshots as an example. Once you've built a client acquisition system for one niche, let's say a cleaning business, you can duplicate that exact system for the next client in minutes. You see, that's leverage. Freelancers keep reinventing the wheel for every single client. Agencies install proven systems again and again. And the more leverage you build, the more you scale. And so that's why agencies can actually step away from the day-to-day and still have the money coming in. Freelancers, the moment they stop, everything stops. So it's not just about being the owner. You see, from the client's perspective, the difference is night and day. Because here's the hard truth. Most business owners don't want to manage freelancers. They don't want to chase someone down for a landing page, then hire someone else for emails, then another person for ads. That becomes babysitting. What they want is simple. They want results. That's why agencies win. Agencies are accountable. They report results. They provide one point of contact, one solution, and one bill. And from a trust standpoint, agencies feel like a real business. Freelancers often feel temporary. Clients worry they'll disappear or they'll burn out. But an agency, that feels stable. It feels scalable, and it feels like a partnership. And so that's why businesses will happily pay an agency over $5,000 a month when they'd never pay a freelancer that same amount, even if the freelancer is technically doing the same exact work behind the scenes. It's not about the tasks. It's about trust and outcomes. Now, here's the painful part. Most freelancers never make that jump, and that's where they break. Now, the reality is every freelancer eventually hits a wall. At first, they think the answer is raising rates, going from $20 an hour to $50 an hour, from $50 to $100 an hour, from $100 to $200, and that works until it doesn't. There's a ceiling, and at some point, clients start pushing back. You start becoming too expensive. And so you start maxing out that amount, then you start maxing out the number of hours that you can work, and then you're stuck. The stress piles up. You're juggling too many clients. You're working nights and you're working weekends. You're leaving project to project, wondering if the next gig will come through. It's exhausting. And here's the kicker. The longer you stay stuck as a freelancer, the harder it becomes to transition. You build habits that are hard to break. You get trapped in a cycle of short-term survival instead of long-term growth. That's why so many freelancers and contractors eventually quit. Not because they weren't talented, but because the model itself is broken. So if you don't want to hit that wall, the question is, how do you make that shift? Making that shift from freelancer to agency owner isn't about adding more skills, but it is about changing your position. Here's the idea and the playbook. Step 1, stop selling tasks. Start packaging outcomes. Don't sell, build a funnel. Sell, I'm bringing in 15 qualified leads per week. Step 2, use tools like High Level, which is the one I recommend. That allows you to automate the follow-up, to prioritize your offers, and to use snapshots so you can install solutions quickly and instantly. Step 3, productize your offer. Pick a niche, solve one big painful problem, and package it as a system. Here's an example. Maybe you're dealing with a cleaning business. Well, you can say it like this. We'll get you 30 book cleaning appointments every single month. How's that? That's a really good outcome. Maybe you're dealing with a restaurant. You can say, we'll fill your tables on slow nights with automated loyalty campaigns. That's powerful. Maybe for construction contractors or plumbers. Hey, we'll bring you 10 to 20 estimate requests every single month. That's powerful. Then step 4, you want to document everything. Everything that you do, every step you do for client A becomes a process. That process becomes your system for client B. Over time, you're not delivering tasks, you're delivering a proven machine. Then step 5, start hiring or outsourcing, even part-time contractors. You want to free yourself from the small stuff. Focus instead on sales and client relationships. And remember this, the goal isn't to do more work. The goal is to build a machine that creates outcomes. And that's the real difference between staying stuck and scaling. So let's bring this home. Freelancers chase tasks. Agencies sell solutions. Freelancers trade hours for dollars, whereas agencies build systems at scale. Freelancers stay stuck. Agencies build leverage. The truth is, if you're still freelancing, you don't need to learn more random skills. You need to change the game you're playing. Package solutions, sell outcomes, and build systems. That's the difference between starving and scaling. And if you're ready to make that shift, don't do it alone. Join my community, GHL Money Labs, to connect with other agency builders and access proven playbooks. Inside, we break down step by step how to package, price, and scale with high level. And just so you know, full transparency. Now, if you choose to sign up for high level using my affiliate links in the description, I may earn a commission at no extra cost to you, but it is one way that I support the channel while getting access to exact tools I use to run my agency. Now, the choice is simple. Stay stuck as a freelancer or step into building a scalable agency. I know which one I'd pick. Now, if you like content like this, feel free to like and subscribe. Now, my question to you, what are you struggling with as a freelancer? Or if you're an agency owner, what is your challenge? Go ahead and put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear your story.